Hey friends, and welcome back to the channel. Today I wanted to answer a Reddit thread that I thought was really interesting. So the question that we're answering today is, how can I stop eating daily fast food / junk food? I find myself thinking about junk food all the time, and I just want help getting out of this mindset. Okay. I love this because I think it brings up a lot of good points that I want to cover. First and foremost, I found it interesting that they mentioned that they find themselves thinking about junk food and consider that to be a mindset that they want to get out of versus a habit. I'm thinking that it's a little bit of both. So having junk food or having foods that are, I'm gonna say like not as nutritionally dense, because I don't love to say the word junk food because I think it just kind of puts a label on food. But typically when we have a lot of treat foods in our home, this can be what we tend to get in the habit of having all day long, whether we really intend to or not. I've been watching a lot of like what are they called? The home organizers on Netflix, where they come in and kind of like redo your whole house and make it all organized and pretty. And they had a really great episode where they redid someone's entire kitchen so that they could promote healthier choices. So when I think of this, I'm curious, what does your kitchen look like? What's inside it? What's within eye level? And what's easy access? And how can maybe you make a few tweaks in your kitchen to where healthier options are more available and easy to grab? So maybe you have a little fruit basket that you can easily spot and looks super pretty, and when you go into the kitchen, that's the first thing you see. Or how does your fridge look? Maybe the first thing that you see when you open the door is a frozen pizza or something that is less desirable. How can you kind of switch around your fridge and freezer to where frozen fruit is front and center, or fresh produce and lean proteins, whole grains, Greek yogurt, stuff like that is all really pretty and really visible within your line of sight right when you open the door. Sometimes we tend to shove our produce like at the bottom of the fridge, so it's the last thing that we think about, which can pose as a problem when we're trying to eat healthier. Another thing to consider is, are there even fresh healthy options in your fridge? Typically what we have in our fridge and our pantry is going to be what we end up eating. So if you don't have enough options or options that actually entice you, then start experimenting and finding some that you can have always on hand. And you might think convenience is always associated with unhealthy, but it's really not. I encourage you to think about some ways that you can have healthy and convenient options at the same time. My favorite things include string cheese, trail mix, fresh fruit and fresh veggies, and even those veggie steamer bags if I'm getting really lazy at dinner time. Greek yogurt, fruit puree pouches, protein bars that are made with really filling ingredients. I really like Kind bars and Perfect bars, and what else? Luna bars can even be a good option too. They have some good flavors. You can have some healthy options that don't take any time to make. Something that I also really love to do is to always have a frozen healthy option. So when I'm not feeling like cooking, I can still make something really convenient and not necessarily have to go out to eat. Even if this is just like a thin crust veggie pizza or frozen veggie steamers, and then you can have like a can of chickpeas that you roast and some rice with that. Like that is like a quick and simple, easy meal that barely takes any thought, and it's something that you can always have on hand. Make sure that when you go to the grocery store, not only are you getting the snacks that are convenient and healthy, but you're also having some backup options in your freezer or your fridge. So when you're totally out of it, you can pick something and be super quick and simple about it. I know I threw a lot at you just now, but then this might sound counterintuitive based on the fact that I just threw a bunch of information out there. But think of how you can slowly and gradually incorporate some of the changes that I just mentioned instead of doing an all or nothing approach. So I think sometimes we can think that it's not worthwhile to even do it if we're not doing it perfectly. But you don't have to be perfect right away. In fact, trying to be perfect right away typically leads to failure because it's that black and white mindset of if I can't do it perfectly, then I'm not going to do it at all. So how can you slowly start to bring in some healthier snacks into your pantry? And maybe how can you slowly start to make changes to your kitchen so you see more healthy options available to you on the counter in a way that looks really pretty and aesthetic and kind of primes your brain to want to grab those foods? Are you putting the quote junk foods on display and kind of hiding the produce? And how can you flip-flop that so you're displaying the healthy options and hiding the junk? So you still can have it in your kitchen and in your pantry, but it's just not right smack dab in your face. And I want to address something too, because I saw a lot of this in the comments, which is either don't have any junk food in your house, just get rid of all of it and never have it in your house ever again, or keep telling yourself that you'll have it later, have it later, have it later, and then you hypothetically you never have it later. I don't necessarily agree with not having any junk food in your house. And again, I hate the word junk food, but for this particular video, we're gonna label it as such because that's how the Redditor labeled it. But I don't agree with not having any types of those foods in your house because I think that doesn't really teach us the deeper lesson of how to self-regulate and how to actually like deal with having all types of foods in our diet. And I think sometimes that can lead to when you finally have that food, maybe it's outside of your house, you feel like a total lack of control. So we don't want that. So I think having healthy options in your house and allowing yourself to have them actually ironically takes that pressure off of you. I think sometimes, like you mentioned, the mindset is the biggest factor in this. And my guess is that maybe you're feeling really guilty, really shameful about the fact that you crave these foods, and that focusing on what to increase versus focusing on what to decrease is going to help you a lot with the mindset aspect of this. Instead of like, what can I stop having, have what can I add in my diet. I don't know why I said it 3 times each, but we're at the 2 cups of coffee mark and I'm about to have a third. Probably don't need it. But yeah, focus on what to include more of. And I think that'll help get you out of that mindset that you have to avoid things that you enjoy. I mean, trust me, I have a bag of 3D Doritos in my cabinet right now, and I chose actively to have that when I went grocery shopping. Did I have mostly healthy options in my grocery cart? Yes, but do I have some options that are less than ideal and like less than nutritionally perfect? Yes, I do, because that is just what works best for me. And trust me, I know some of you may be thinking, okay, but I don't work like that. I can't have any of those foods or else I go crazy. That is probably the root of many of the cravings, is feeling that sense of deprivation or that sense of being bad or a sense of being a horrible person because you want the treat. I know I'm a dietitian. I respect and love nutrition as much as you would think a dietitian would, but I also really love the psychology aspect and honor the psychology of food, because food is connected in every little thing that we do. So it definitely plays a huge role. And unlike alcohol or drugs or anything like that, you can't just get rid of food. When you have challenges with overeating, you have to find a way to make peace with food and continue, of course, to eat food in a peaceful way. So it can be a really tough thing to do, and I highly encourage you to work with a dietitian. If this is something you are continuing to struggle with, definitely don't do this alone. It's much easier said than done, and it's something that can take a lot of mental and habitual undoing. So it can be really helpful to have someone that you can talk to and work through some of these with, and someone to kind of just validate your experience. I do work with a few select one-on-one clients, so you can check out my information in the description below if you're interested in working with me. I also have a Mindful Muscles Academy nutrition program, which focuses on mindful eating for an active lifestyle. In that, we definitely talk a lot about the mindset shifts that help lead you to healthier habits and reducing emotional eating through habituating some of those fear foods and stuff like that. So we do talk about a ton of that stuff in the academy. So check that out if you're interested, and definitely check out my free training if you want to learn more about that program and some of the habits and mindset tweaks that I talked about just now. All right, before we wrap up this video, I will leave you with one more tip slash strategy. When this commenter mentioned that they're going out to eat a lot, or fast food in particular, one more thing that I will say about kind of slowly and gradually making healthier habits out of this, try to look at the menu ahead of time and check out some healthier alternatives. So if you are going to fast food restaurants multiple times per week, then you can at least make that swap 1 or 2 or 3 times when you go out to eat. Again, we're talking about small and gradual changes, so you don't have to by any means do it every single time and like only get the salad when you go out to eat. That's not necessarily realistic or something that is going to happen overnight. But again, I think swapping even one of those meals with a healthier option, or maybe you go out to eat 6 times a week and your goal is to go 4 times a week. That can really make a big difference in how your body is feeling energy-wise and mood-wise. And I think it'll make a big dent in your overall health and nutrition goals, whatever goals you have, whether it's body composition changes or just feeling better and feeling more energized. I think that'll really make a huge difference. So let me know in the comment section below, does this resonate with any of you? Have you ever experienced a time in your life where you were eating out a lot, or you had a lot of junk food all the time and you really weren't sure why? If it was habit-based or if it was just something that was easy and convenient, so it just started to be a part of your routine, or if it was like a mindset-based thing. Let me know in the comment section below, and let me know if you have any other follow-up questions. I'd love to talk more about this topic in a future video. And if you want to keep hanging out with me today, then click or tap the screen to head on over to the next video.